What's shaking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more J-drama score, and we're going back to the score from Angels and Demons, a fantastic cold case investigation show from 2015 centering around plea bargains. The soundtrack is by Hayashi Yuki. Mentioned it before, his work. I only know it from a few shows, but someone mentioned that, hey, you should react to music from Strawberry Night, also by Hayashi Yuki. Well, I have the show Strawberry Night. It is a fantastic show. I didn't realize that was Hayashi Yuki, but it is a great soundtrack. So right now I don't have the disc for that. I just have the DVD set, the show. But I'm working on that, and that would be a great suggestion. So shout out to you who said that for the suggestion. But yeah, I won't spend too much longer setting up the show. I'll just say that again, it features two of my favorite actors, Ayame or Goriki Ayame and Atsuro Watabe. We're gonna listen to a tune. I mentioned it before. All the tunes in this are named originally in Japanese. So the original Japanese title is Hyou to Ura no Kao. Now, Kao is face. I would have known what that meant in advance. But the phrase essentially means front and back face, which I think is very relevant for the show, the content, the subject matter, in the sense that in this show they encounter people, and not always like bad or criminal people, not always the people who ultimately committed the crime or are guilty of the past malfeasance that has been hidden up until now. But even just sometimes people who, think that someone they know has something to lose, and so they sort of bury the truth and so on. But the two investigators are often lied to by people in this show. They are often given information that is at best only a partial truth and often just outright wrong. So they enter a case and there's a superficial appearance of circumstances and conditions, whatever happened, whatever the crime was, and where the people who were maybe involved in that, where they are now. And then the more they look into things, there's like a dark underbelly, or at least an unseen element that proves critical to their understanding of what happened and who they can put either pressure on or appeal to the humanity of, and so on, to get a plea bargain. So yeah, I think it's a really well-named tune for the subject matter of the show in terms of things having a superficial appearance, but that not always being what's at play, or at least not the whole story as to what's at play. So let's get to it. This is Hayashi Yuki, from the Angels and Demons soundtrack 2015. The name in Japanese is Hyou to Ura no Kao, and it means front and back face. There's a wicked tune in it. It's elegant, sublime, wicked, and dark all at the same time. Post-apocalyptic wasteland. Ghostly, grating synth. Amorphous bass. Shapeless. multi-sectional, again, like dark and brooding, but also elegant, especially that voice when it came in. The violin work, just fantastic. The writing for the violin, fantastic. And then it leaves you with this sort of, you know, unfinished, like unfulfilled sort of feeling, which again, like when you're trying to work out the truth of things and you sort of like, you're trying to look through the murky, complicated morass created by people's lies, but you are seeing grains of truth. I don't know, it just feels very conceptually like where the show is and what the show does. So once again, shout out to Hayashi Yuki. Absolutely love this soundtrack, and I'm, you know, appreciating it more now that I'm sitting down and going through it. I've always enjoyed it, like watching the show. I've rewatched the show probably, you know, 2 or 3 times since I first got it. And the soundtrack has stood out to me from the first viewing and has only got more and more enjoyable as I've gone on, which is of course what made me want to try to find the soundtrack, which I eventually did. But yeah, it's been even more remarkable as I've sat down and listened to it, these tracks in this context. So anyway, let me know what you think. I will see you next time.